Hello, so this is how to explore bisexuality. Women are getting more comfortable coming out as bi, but there's a way to explore without acting like they're completely goofy. Bisexuality may be having a moment. According to certain studies, less than half of today's teens say they're straight, and a third identify as bi. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's getting easier to actually be bisexual. For many women, stigma, stereotypes, and occasionally inaccurate media representation can make coming out as bi, or even just admitting it to yourself, difficult to navigate. If you're not a celebrity, if you have a serious boyfriend, or if you're a fully grown adult who people assume ought to have this kind of thing figured out by now, the thought of embracing bisexual feelings can be scary. It's hard to know where to start, how to start, and what, if anything, it all means. A study published in Prevention Science found that people who identify as bi often face discrimination from both of the heterosexual and gay and lesbian communities, and that resulting isolation puts them at a higher risk of anxiety and depression. Next, it says arranging a threesome with a stranger on Tinder might seem like the only option, but that's totally cool if you're into it, but it's not the only way to test things out. Being bisexual can be a little more complex than kissing a girl and liking it. It's never too late to explore who you are, what you want, and what to do about it. Finally, acknowledging and owning your authentic sexuality can be exciting, affirmative, and even transformative. For anyone who spent their formative years feeling weird about being bi, I thought I was the only person in the world that felt the way I did. I had been shamed for liking women by friends who didn't understand, and I knew I was the odd one out. Guinevere Lejeune, founder of bisexual play party Skirt Club, told Vice. I had kind of suppressed it for a long time, but once I began to meet other women like me, oh my god, was the relief was intense. I wasn't the weird one anymore. So a little about bisexuality. Bisexuality, for some reason, seems to be slightly more complicated for people to understand than you think. Doesn't mean you're 50% attracted to men and 50% attracted to women. It means you're 100% bisexual and can fall anywhere along the spectrum. And as a second point, that doesn't necessarily mean you've had relationships with both either. Merely had an attraction. This is where a lot of negativity around bisexuality seems to arise. Although it is common for some people to come out as bisexual before they come out as gay, there are some in the community who believe that bisexuality isn't real, rather that a person claiming to be bisexual is either afraid to come out as gay, or that they're trying to be unique or get attention, or they're simply greedy. Bisexuals, because they fall somewhere in the middle on the spectrum, sometimes find it hard to relate to both of the straight and gay communities. But luckily, times are changing. Now we know that bisexuality is real, but in terms of a percentage of the population is bisexual or identify as bisexual, it is extremely hard to measure. However, you can know if you're bisexual if you're not alone. So how do I start? Where to start out making use of the queer communities, queer resources, queer education that already exist. Seek out community and resources. Minus 18 are awesome. Follow at ABC Queer on, I'm guessing that's Instagram. Melbourne and Sydney have Bi Plus networks you can join. You can get into groups, find your way to Bi Plus TikToks. There's also Facebook. There's Facebook groups about being bi. Embolden yourself. Start smashing Grindr, Feld, Tinder, Miami, OkCupid. If you're in a major city, seek out your local queer nights and don't be scared to say you're less experienced. Now about that point. I feel bad about making someone an expert. Everyone is someone's expert. We all had sex for the first time. We've all tried new sexual experiences with new people, and there's no reason to feel bad about it. I really encourage people to make a safe enough situation where they can experiment and have room to be a beginner in the bedroom or in their dating lives. Ethically, you don't owe anyone the solid knowledge you haven't worked out for yourself. You don't owe people perfection. Everyone starts somewhere and bringing different skills and experiences at different ages. And so, what if someone's 27 or 28 or 52 or 76 and they're thinking about having sex? They're having sex with a particular gender for the first time. That's okay. So let the people you know hook up with that you're new at it, and where you are, what you want, and make sure it's safe to do that. So be open and honest about your desires and your experience level. Lots of people will be willing to come on that journey with you. So there's not just bi. There's so many versions of sexuality that multi-gender attraction, you might not know exactly what's what. For Naomi from Brisbane, she feels different levels of romantic and sexual attractions between genders. I find I'm more romantically attracted to women than I am to men, so my interest in dating women is so much higher than it is for men. So it can be really confusing. After having this fundamental discovery of myself, actually opened me up to sexuality as well. It's just femininity I find attractive, but whether or not that's a man or a woman doesn't really matter, or whatever in between. So you have pansexual, omnisexual, polysexual, and then there's more liquid terms like sexually fluid, ambisexual, femi-attracted, mask-attracted, androgyny sexual. The rainbow is limitless. I'm sorry. Whatever works for you is totally chill. Knowing there's options and communities can make you feel less confused and alone. The experience of being multi-gender attracted is much more common than only being attracted to a member of the same gender. The experience of attraction to multiple genders is super common, even if self-identifying as bisexual, pansexual, polysexual, etc. is less common. So maybe everyone really is a bit gay or straight. Who cares? But also, what if you try and realize you're very much not? So what if you think you're bi, so you try it, and you're like, no, this isn't for me. Well, then you know. That's the thing, is then you know. But also be open to the fact that you might change with more time, experience, exposure, and education. No, not everyone is gay, but sexuality is fluid for everyone. At 16, you're not going to be attracted to what you are at 24, 35, or 53. You've had new experiences, good and bad, that form your attraction to different types of bodies and personalities. So know that nothing is fixed about you, and that's exciting. Sexuality can absolutely change across your life, and that's fine and normal. I've had every combination of three-way you can imagine, foursomes as well. Then people would say, oh, well, are you bi? So rather than say bi, straight, or anything like that, I just say I'm sexual. So give it a go, because you have nothing to lose and everything to learn about yourself. And that's a big gain.